Hello, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women Wealth series. Today, I have a new friend with me, and Alexandra, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Sure. I'm Alexandra Watkins. I am the founder, chief executive, boss lady, and big cheese of a brand naming consultancy called Eat My Words. And we specialize in naming things, a lot of things that make people fat and drunk. Thus the name Eat My Words. And what I love about what I do is I get paid to dream up names. I mean, who wouldn't love that, right? Well, I mean, you wouldn't love it if you weren't good at it. Just like I wouldn't love, like, trying to be a chef in a Michelin star restaurant. I
Yeah.
I would fail miserably, but no, it's just fun. I get to be paid to be creative. Like, that's the best.
Oh, that sounds so fun. And just going to your website, I literally salivate. Like just looking at all the names, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want that right now.
Thank you.
So what do you love about what you do? Like a little bit more about that.
Well, every day is different. So one day, gosh, I would love to say this name, but and sometimes like I was doing a call with a client the other day, a kickoff call for a kickoff meeting to name this new farm, and I came up with the name on the call, which is why, by the way, financial tip, I always get paid up front by my clients because I never know when that's going to happen. And one time it did happen where I somebody, I met with someone, they said they were going to bring the check. They didn't bring the check. They were able to read upside down and saw me taking notes and didn't bring the check, and then never heard from them again and had got the name. So yeah, I learned my lesson there. Always get paid up front. So I love that. I love just, I never know where a spark of inspiration will come from, and that I've been doing this for 19 years and sustaining myself.
That's impressive because it has to be a very competitive area too.
Yeah, it's super competitive. And now with ChatGPT, it's just a matter of staying ahead of that and also letting people know that ChatGPT is never going to come up with the clever type of names that we do. I named the Wendy's Baconator, for instance, or a frozen yogurt franchise named Spoon Me,
Oh,
or the Church of Cupcakes. It's not
I
coming up with
love the
names.
I
Thank
love the
you.
Church of Cupcakes. It's one of my
Thank you.
favorites.
Thank you. So I was just at, sorry, I'm turning around. I went to a big food industry trade show last month, and I wanted to, in trade shows, if you are a service provider, no one wants to talk to you
Yeah.
because they're just looking for buyer. The exhibitors want to talk to buyers and retailers. So I'm like, what am I going to do to make myself feel welcome? So I created this award. It's called the Love Your Name Award. It's a pink art glass trophy. And I gave it out to,
Oh, it's adorable.
thank you. I gave it out to 10 love at first sight brand names from the show. And so that was something that I did recently, and that was a big success. But one of the names, they were all really fun names that I gave awards to. But my favorite one was this woman who has a frozen gourmet cookie dough company, and its name is Dopamine, and it's spelled like cookie dough.
Oh, love it.
I
Love
know,
it.
isn't it so good? And when you have a name like that, people talk about it. I mean, I've probably been on 6 podcasts since that time, and I talk about it constantly. And I talk
Yeah.
about it to my clients. I've posted on LinkedIn. Yeah. So when you have a name like that, you're golden.
Yeah. And that was brilliant of you to create that award, and it created its own conversation at the conference. And people were like, oh, why is she carrying that around? What is she doing? Why is she stopping at all these places? So that brought attention to you too. That was brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, and people have now gotten their awards in the mail that are engraved with their brand name, and they're posting photos, and they're in the office. So, people can, it's a great conversation piece, oh, what is that? And then all of these companies go to lots of trade shows and they put their awards on the table. So that's just another way
Sweet.
to kind of help promote my business.
Yeah, that is super, super sweet. Oh my gosh, I love that.
Thank
So
you.
creative. I'm not, I don't have the creative side. I'm more the analytical side. So when I meet somebody who's as creative as you, I get like, oh, so amazed at this because it's not in my blood at all.
That's
But
okay. You have a very important wealth. Yeah, yeah. Building wealth is a good skill to have.
yeah, so far so good, right? We're working towards building and building and building for all of our clients and where we can add value and all those important things that we do, especially for women that we're working with.
And
Yeah,
I love the
yeah.
name Forge, by the way. And we've named a lot of financial services, and that's a name that we never put on the list because, especially with banks, because of forging checks, you know.
Oh God. Oh, I
But
wasn't
see,
thinking of that.
it doesn't come up to you. But like people read too much into it, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, where I live in Phoenixville, and they had an old steel mill. So, you used to forge your steel. And I was like, oh, it's an action word. And I also live near Valley Forge National Park. So I was like, oh, a little play on the words. And I
Yeah.
was using it as an forging your wealth, like building and
Yeah.
growing your wealth. So I
No,
was like playing on the word.
I totally get it. Yeah, no, I think
Yeah.
it's a great name. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That was painful. I will have to tell you that process of trying to think of a name. I wish I had known you. My brother should have introduced us over 8 years ago because I would have definitely needed your help. So, but it was quite interesting. So you are a business owner. You've been doing it for quite a while. Tell me about some of the challenges that you have faced as a professional woman.
Well, look, I'm just gonna say, as a woman, I think I actually have an advantage in this business, because I don't so a lot of my competitors are men. And what I noticed is building relationships with clients. Like when my clients meet me, they hug me. Like at this trade show, I ran into a number of my clients and like, it wasn't this stiff man in a suit shaking a hand, like they were so excited to see me and it was like great to meet them. And like that just feels good. And it's so on brand for me being, more of a playful person. But I think I haven't seen any disadvantages as a woman. I was raised by a feminist. My mother was the president of San Diego Now in the 70s. So I grew up with that. So I'm very aware of discrimination, job discrimination. I didn't see that, but I did get taken advantage of by a man. And that was a boyfriend he was a former CFO, and he offered to do and CPA and offered to do my taxes for me for 2 years. And he did, and that was all fine. And then till it wasn't, and he embezzled $126,000 from me. So that really sucked. And that was supposed to go to pay my taxes. But
Oh,
what ended up happening is I was contacted by the FBI because he was being investigated for embezzling $2 million from his former company and $1 million from another branding firm. So I was small potatoes, but they needed me to prove a pattern. So I worked with the FBI for a long time. It was really stressful. And I did end up getting paid a lot of my money back I got a great I spoke with a number of lawyers when it happened, and some people said, sue him, put him in jail. But I knew if he was in jail, he wouldn't pay me back right away, or pay me back ever. So I worked with the FBI. I had about a year before he actually was sentenced and did go to prison. But I was able to get a lot of my money back from him during that time just by being nice,
hmm.
because
Wow.
and it was hard. It was the
Yeah, I
hardest
can.
thing, just to pretend to be nice. Or I was
Yeah.
being nice, but I was acting.
And now we're gonna create a voodoo doll and stick little pins in them because,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah. So
that's
that's
awful.
the biggest challenge I've ever overcome. But
Yeah.
I made it through, and um I'm stronger because of it. He got out during COVID, unfortunately. But whatever, I've moved on. It's been 10
Yeah.
years now.
Yeah, but I mean, but it's adversity and you've survived it and you found a way through it. So kudos to you. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's awful.
Thank you. It was funny,
Yeah.
my boyfriend, so I've been with this guy for 7 years now, a little over 7 years, Glenn. And the other day he was asking me he was needed he said, "Do you remember what that check was for $8,000, 5 years ago?" And I'm like, the bank didn't go back that far, the bank records. And I'm like, "Let me get my checkbook." And he's like, "I can't believe you keep you a handwritten checkbook." But the reason I do is after that happened to me, I'm like much more cognizant. And I think I know a lot of women get taken advantage of by men. They're so busy making money, they're not minding their money. And now yeah, balance the checkbook, look at just make sure to keep an eye on things.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially as a business owner, you're so busy trying to, build the business, keep it going, taking care of any employees, moving to the next event, going to trade shows that you do. So, you could be targeted again. You never know.
Oh my God, yeah. But the reason I chose Glenn is Glenn donated a kidney to a complete stranger.
Oh,
So
wow.
as soon as I met him and I found that out, I was like, no, I Google stalked him before I met him. So I figured I found an article someone had posted about it. So I'm like, okay, this is a good guy. And he is. And yeah, I trust him. And it's so important to find a guy that you can trust and, share money with and all of that. And I still don't, we don't have joint accounts. There's no need for that. But it's nice to be able to trust someone like that.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I'm I'm very careful with people. And like even when I ask clients to pay me up front, they're like, "Why should you?" And I say, "You can go on our website. We've been in business 19 years. You can go on our website. I can see our testimonials. I can give you references, but who's going to give me a reference that you're going to pay me?" You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
stops people. They're like, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right."
Right, right. No, that's true. That's true. Speaking of your business, if people want to learn more about you and what you do, where would they go visit to find out that information?
You can go to eatmywords.com, just like it sounds. And you can follow me on LinkedIn at Alexandra Watkins. And Instagram is Eat My Words Names. But yeah, everything's on the website. Even the Instagram
That's
feed is on
awesome.
the website.
Yeah, and I definitely think anyone listening or watching has to go to the website because you see all these names and you see pictures that go with it. And it's like, oh my God, that is awesome. And of course, you better have a snack next to you because your mouth will be salivating by the time you're done
Oh,
looking.
thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's for anyone listening that's in financial services, there's a great go look at our before and afters. There's a great bank before and after of a bank that was more than 100 years old. I just put up another before and after of some health centers that were more than 100 years old that we renamed. So yeah, it's we work on so many different things, but yeah, the food is what's fun.
yeah, yeah, totally, totally. So I know you are a mover and shaker, but let's just pretend we get in the time machine. What is your vision of retirement?
Well, I'm kind of living in my retirement world. If anyone wants to see my world, Instagram is San Diego Bitchin' Backyard, Bitchin'
What?
with no G on the end. And yeah, Glenn and I created this like amazing backyard paradise where we live. So we already have the place, we're like living the dream. We still both have to work, but in retirement, we're just going to enjoy our home more. Our home, by the way, is going to be on the Point Loma Garden Walk in San Diego. So I'm
No
really
way.
excited about that. Yeah. Yeah. I just got all my free tickets. So that's,
Nice.
yeah. Yeah. So that's really a thrill. And so we've been, gussing it up for that. But in retirement, I just want to do more volunteer work. I do a ton right now. I run all of the business mixers for the Point Loma Association. That was an initiative that when I joined the Point Loma Association as a business, I realized they don't really do anything for businesses other than promote you in their newsletter. And so I joined the membership committee and I suggested they have business mixers, and they said, well, we could probably do that twice a year. I'm like, no, no, every month. They're like, well, who's going to do it? No, we don't have I'm like, I'll do it. Don't worry. So they gave me a 3-month trial, and now the trial is over. Tomorrow night, we're having our margarita mixer,
Oh,
and we have
I'm showing up
like
for that.
60 people have RSVP'd. So
Wow.
yeah, I built this thing, and now I've been asked to join the board. And yeah, I was at the board meeting the other day, and they were all just it's been really fulfilling for me. So I love volunteering. I have a 6-year plan to, in 6 years, when I would like to be the president of the Point Loma Association at some point. So that's in my 6-year plan at some point when I start to slow down. But yeah, but first I got to make a little more money. Luckily, the house that I just kept trading up on the houses, and this one has in San Diego, the real estate here has just gone through the roof in the last 6 years since we bought it. And so the house will be good for retirement as well.
That's awesome. That is all. And San Diego is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. So
Yeah,
you have
it's nice.
perfect weather all year round. The only thing you have earthquakes, right? Do you have
Yeah, but
mudslides
we
too, or
don't
just
have, knock
earthquakes?
on wood, we haven't, I grew up here. We did not have, I mean, I could remember one earthquake. And then, yeah, since we've lived back here, fires are the biggest danger to San
Um,
Diego, but when we moved here 6 years ago, I had just lived in San Francisco for a long time. But moving back here, my mother gave me really good advice. She said, don't buy a house on a canyon, because that's where the fire danger is. And yeah, we live at the top of the hill. The beach is down the street. Flood can flood down there, but it doesn't flood up here. So yeah, we're relatively safe.
that sounds like paradise. It
Well,
really
come
does.
visit sometime. Come visit.
Hey,
Tom, your brother
when
Tom has come to visit.
I may be there this summer for a conference. I'll call you. We'll have a cocktail. I have to see this garden. I have to
Oh
see
yeah,
your yard.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's fun.
Well,
We have a surfboard fence with 26 boards. We've got a tiki bar. There's 3 pirates back here. Yeah,
oh
it's a
my
lot of fun.
gosh, that's exciting. Well, thank you so much for being with me today. This has been such a pleasure, and I really appreciate your time. I know you are a busy lady.
Oh, thanks, Regina. It's always fun to talk to you.
Yeah, thank you. And thank everyone else for joining us. I'm Regina McCann Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. Our website is forgewealth.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Forge Wealth, and LinkedIn, Regina McCann Hess. Go make it a great day.